What if I told you that one of Africa's most overlooked and economically challenged nations just paid off nearly $5 billion in debt without a single dollar from the IMF, the World Bank, or any Western lender? Sounds impossible, doesn't it? And yet, that is exactly what Burkina Faso accomplished under the bold leadership of President Ibrahim Traoré, rewriting the rules of modern economics and proving that true sovereignty isn't given, it's claimed. Imagine a landlocked nation, often dismissed as too fragile to stand alone, taking its destiny into its own hands and shattering decades of dependency narratives. This was more than a financial feat. It was a political declaration, a demonstration of courage and foresight, and a testament to the power of national unity. In early 2024, Prime Minister Dr. Apollinaire Dembélé made a historic announcement. Burkina Faso had fully repaid $479 billion in domestic debt, using only internal resources, no bailouts, no conditional loans, no Western oversight. The global financial community paused, not because of the sheer magnitude of the sum, but because of who had done it and how. Burkina Faso, a country long written off as economically fragile, had achieved what wealthier nations often fail to do: clear its debts with its own people's resources, its own banks, its own institutions. Instead of appealing to international lenders, the government tapped into domestic capital markets, offering bonds to local banks, pension funds, businesses, and citizens, calling on its people to invest in the future of their own nation. At first, skepticism was rampant. After all, insurgencies and a fragile economy painted a bleak picture. But something remarkable happened. The people responded. They invested, trusting a government that demonstrated transparency, fiscal discipline, and a clear plan for infrastructure, healthcare, and education. Slowly, a surge of confidence spread, as citizens saw their contributions translate into real, tangible progress. Roads were repaired, hospitals and schools were built, and a sense of national pride and hope took hold. Burkina Faso's leadership had not only challenged the entrenched belief that African nations must rely on Western support to survive, but had proven that homegrown solutions could succeed even under pressure. Throughout this process, the country faced external skepticism, sanctions, and diplomatic isolation, yet President Traoré and his administration stayed the course, prioritizing clarity, accountability, and citizen engagement over external validation. Local businesses reinvested, banks and pension funds participated, and even in the face of international doubt, no capital flight occurred, no protests erupted, no institutions collapsed. The government's quiet, strategic approach turned crisis into trust, and trust into tangible progress. By repaying nearly $5 billion in debt independently, Burkina Faso made a profound statement. Sovereignty is not symbolic. It is economic, political, and deeply personal. And while the West observed with a mix of disbelief, concern, and recalibration, Burkina Faso citizens celebrated a triumph that went far beyond numbers. It was dignity, independence, and a blueprint for other nations to follow. Economists, leaders, and civil society took notice. Could other African nations replicate this model? Could the grip of traditional debt structures finally be challenged? From Mali to Niger, from Ghana to South Africa, conversations ignited, and young Africans began to see that national self-reliance was not just a dream, but a viable reality. President Traoré, once a national figure, has now become a symbol of financial courage and African agency, showing that independence does not require confrontation, only vision and trust in one's own people. By relying on domestic capital, communicating transparently, and inspiring confidence, Burkina Faso turned the narrative of dependency on its head. Today, the nation stands resilient, economically empowered, and morally strengthened. Its GDP has stabilized, inflation is under control, rural currency circulation has increased, youth unemployment has dropped, and the country's infrastructure is steadily improving. Burkina Faso has proven that the path to sovereignty is not paved by foreign oversight, but by deliberate, courageous leadership and the collective will of its citizens. This story is a beacon of hope, a clarion call to Africa and the world. Nations can rise on their own terms, and dignity is inseparable from self-determination. If this journey moved you, if Burkina Faso's courage inspires you, share this story, subscribe, and witness the untold tales of resilience, leadership, and hope sweeping across the continent, because Africa's story is being rewritten and it starts here.